Hey everybody, Jeremy here on a Wednesday afternoon. I think I'm live. Got a little bit of a late start, but that's okay. Um, so I wanted to switch things up a little bit and not do always in the evening. I figure Wednesday is a good day to kind of do them in the afternoon. I've got another audio thing that I do Wednesday nights, so it makes sense to just start it a little bit earlier in the day and see how it goes. So the big thing today is I'm going to try oil pastels. I bought these little cheap ones from Walmart. It was like $5. I think they're more for kids. I tried to play with them a little bit, and they're not what I expected. I think eventually I kind of want to upgrade to some soft oil pastels. But I'm gonna give these a shot. I think they'll work really well with colored pencils, where if I use these to kind of like put down like a base layer, I can come back over it with colored pencils. And oh, you got this T-shirt, just hey everybody. Um, yeah, this doesn't mean this is going to go any quicker just because I'm wearing a Flash T-shirt, but I don't know. Um, yeah, so I'm going to give these oil pastels a try. Like I said, they're just cheap $5 oil pastels. I don't have a lot of colors, so what I'm going to work on tonight or today, I think is going to be a little bit off color, but that's okay. They're cheap. They're not expensive at all. And what you miss out on actual education here, you at least pick up with experimentation. So I'm going to experiment with these cheap pastels. So what are we working on? I'm going to do Baby Grogu. Like I said, I don't think I have the right colors for this. He's probably going to come out looking a little neon. Um, because I practice with blending. I don't know if it's going to work all that great. He's probably going to come out looking a lot greener than he does in the show. In the show, he's kind of got kind of this grayish green color going on, but it is what it is. So, like usual, I already took the liberty of kind of sketching it out so that I can just jump in and start working with these pastels. Because it's not late at night, I actually have myself some coffee today. So I'm going to be drinking the coffee while I'm doing this. I've got a late night, so coffee's better than bourbon. We'll be back Friday with some bourbon. All right, so I'm just going to jump in here. Like I said, I've got a limited assortment of pastels here. These are, I mean, it's in the name. It says Simply is the brand name. $5, Walmart. What can you do? So you can see there's some colors missing here because I think did some tests earlier. I think this is my basic color palette for Grogu. As you can see, he's going to probably turn out like a Hulk green, but it is what it is. I'll try to lighten them up a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. So, per use, I'm going to start with the eyeballs. Grogu's got very black eyes, so I think it'll work out really well just to start with the black oil pastel. Now, what I like about these oil pastels is I do have these colored pencils, and I find that those work really well. But for like laying down big splotches of color, the pencils do not work so well for that. You end up taking forever, and ends up using a lot of the pigment out of your pencils. So that's why I picked these up. I think it'll work really good for laying down. Like that would have taken slightly longer. Can you purchase this one? Why don't you wait and see how it turns out first? I'm not promising it's going to look great. Um, but yeah, if I was doing this with pencils, like it would still work. In fact, I'm going to be using colored pencils along with it, but I think that this is really good for laying down splotches of color, especially as like a base coat. And then, of course, doing backgrounds and stuff, you can just kind of like swoosh through this really quickly. So, yeah, black eyes, Grogu. Um, let's see. I do have my colored pencils here as well. I'm going to be using that in conjunction with this. I forgot to get my... I am running so behind today. Forgot to get my pencil sharpener out. Yeah, I was like in a phone call with a client, and it was running right up to 4 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, I hope this ends soon. So you can throw down like big splotch of color with the oil pastels, and then come back and kind of define it a little bit better in pencil. And what's cool is there's not a lot of detail in Grogu's eyes, Baby Yoda, whatever you want to call him. Uh, he's just got these big black eyes. Now there is a little bit of a retina on this side. Not retina, iris. I go back and watch these sometimes. I get the terminology all mixed up on these things. So forgive me if I misspeak. So on this side, I think I'll add that as like an extra layer. It probably won't show up on camera anyway, but he's got a bit of a brown iris, I think. But one of the reasons why I wanted to do Baby Grogu is the new season's coming out soon. I don't remember the date, but they have the trailer out if you guys want to watch it. And I, for one, am really looking forward to it. As far as Star Wars goes, it's been hit or miss lately on quality. Boba Fett, in my opinion, no disrespect to those of you who really enjoyed Boba Fett, but I thought it was okay, but I thought they could have done a lot better. But The Mandalorian, that's some good stuff. And then, of course, Andor. Andor was really good. Maybe I'll do some artwork from Andor at some point. Oh, and I got this little brush. So these things are messy. So I got this little brush to kind of get rid of some of the residue. So I think his eye actually comes up a little bit more. So I've got this reference art here, but what kind of sucks is when you're drawing from reference art, people can go and look at the reference art. I mean, this is a pretty famous photo of Grogu. But also, I don't mind taking some liberties and making a little bit different than what I see in the photo too. So if it doesn't look spot on, I'm okay with that. Because I don't mind it being a little bit different. All right, now the tricky part. Okay, so I'll come back and add some more details to the eyes later, but I want to start getting this green down because I don't know how this is going to go. Now, most of his head is kind of Bastin highlight, so I'm not going to go too far up there. And I'm going to start just kind of by adding green. I'm not going to like press down too hard because I don't know if I'm going to want to switch it up. Because he's not really green in this photo. He's more kind of like a grayish green. And like always, it's going to look like crap at first and hopefully come together later. So the reason why I want soft oil pastels is because, I mean, this works, but I feel like it would be coming off a little creamier if it was soft oil pastels. Who knew there were so many different varieties, but they didn't have those when I went to go look at Walmart, and the art store, like arts and crafts store, art supply store, whatever you want to call it, is a little bit further away. And also, you know, I like practicing with cheaper material. Not just because I'm a, you know, really cheap person, but also because it would be kind of cool if you can create good stuff. I'm not saying this is good so far. I mean, that looks like a mess. But it would be cool if you can create really good stuff with cheap material. Because I like the idea of anybody being able to create art, regardless of how much money you got or talent. But regardless of like what you've got working for you, anybody can go out and pick up a piece of paper. Anybody can pick up some cheap colored pencils. Anybody can pick up some cheap oil pastels. Then you're creating art. So I'm going to see if I'm going to go raid my colored pencils here. See what I've got as far as. Well, before I do that, let me see if I can kind of blend this a little bit and make it less sketchy. I don't want to press down too hard because the paper has some texture that picks up these things pretty well. And I don't want to remove any of that toothing by pressing down too hard. It's just a start. And then this one ended up being really bright. But I'm going to risk it and kind of... It's going to be a bit of a neon looking Yoda. So what I like about these oil pastels is versus colored pencils is I can come in here and just kind of quickly throw down like a lot of color. Not quickly, but relatively. Looks like a little alien right now. Oh, he is an alien. Well, I guess he wouldn't be an alien on whatever planet he's from, which I don't think they ever really mentioned. I don't think there's a planet Yoda. I don't think they ever went into the backstory of Yoda himself, and I don't think that they cover. Maybe they'll do that like in one of these seasons. I know that they're supposed to go to Mandalore this season, which would be kind of cool. Find out where the whole Mandalorian people are from. I know a little bit because like I look up the stories from what was it, the Clone Wars that first introduced the Mandalorians? Well, didn't introduce them, but start going into backstories. Yeah, I know this looks like garbage, but it'll look better, hopefully. As we go along. So let's see. I think at this point I'm going to try and get. Do I have a gray pencil? That's silver. I don't want that. Lighten them up a little bit with this green. So what I have found is that if you come back over the oil pastel with a colored pencil, it does kind of blend it a little bit. It's almost acting like a colored smudge stick, which is kind of cool. At least in my tests. Maybe when I was a kid, I did something with colored or oil pastels, but I don't remember. I always looked at them as like adult crayons. Maybe it's just because the ones I used are garbage. Gonna define his eyebrow a little bit with this color. But I do like the idea of treating pencils like you're painting, where you're just adding a bunch of layers upon layers. That's fun. You're not actually painting with paint, but hey, thanks, Richard. So before I get too far along, I'm going to go ahead and start adding some color to his ears because even though it's a mess, I want it to be consistently a mess across the entire picture, so that as I come in and try to improve it, I'm improving all the spots at one time. He's got these big ears, right? So like when I go and make a short of this, because those are vertical, I don't know how that's going to turn out. I'm going to end up probably having to crop off some of his ear. Hey, if you're still in here, Just Dave, where's it? What time is it out in the UK? I really like that we've got viewers from all over the world. That's kind of cool. Makes me feel like an internationally recognized artist. So it does look a little bit smoother on my desk than it does on camera. Oh, 9 o'clock. That's not too bad. Okay, so maybe this is a better time slot for you. So I do think I'm going to kind of keep maybe a little bit earlier on Wednesdays. It's just I had a meeting today. That's why I did it for 4. It's 4 p.m. my time, or 4:20. It's 4:20. It is literally 4:20. What time is it? Um, yeah, the only reason why I got started this late is I had a phone call that I had to do, but I think I don't know, maybe like 2 o'clock or something like that. Sounds good for Wednesdays. I am kind of curious about 4:20. That's great. I am kind of curious, what type of viewers you would capture during the daytime versus at night. All right, so that's a basic green head. Looks like garbage, but I'm committed to cleaning it up, no matter how long it takes. Well, that's not true. I gave up on one of my pictures because like it was taking too long to clean up. But I think with these oil pastels, it's supposed to be a little rough because the paper is textured, so it's not going to come out smooth. And then, depending on the type of oil pastels you have, some of them end up being a lot smoother than others. And again, I think these are like $5. That's ridiculous. Plus, there's like 25 of them. I think these were made for students or like kids. But I'm not going to be judgy. I'm just going to use them and make do. I am kind of curious different ways of making it look smoother, and I really think coming back over it with colored pencils is going to do that. But he is green, so let's start with that. There's a slant to my desk apparently. All these things flying around here. I don't mind if he turns out neon. I was thinking, who's to say what colors I'm supposed to choose? Like, I was thinking, like, I was looking at my pastel set, and I'm like, what can I do with these colors? Well, there's some greens. Let me try Grogu. But honestly, if you made him where he had some reds and blues on him, that's just him reflecting lightsabers. So why not, right? So of course the inside of his ears are actually kind of this pinkish color, but here you go ahead and block it off. So I don't actually have a pink, so I'm going to start with this, well, it says pink on the pastel, but this is not pink. This is hot pink. But I'm going to use it anyway, just to get started on the inside of his ears. And again, I could do this in colored pencils, but I like the idea of just being able to throw in, you know, quick splotches of color. And then come back and work with that. And over here, same deal. It's always fun to try different new things. Like, I have no expectations for what I can get out of these pastels, except that I'm dedicated to trying. Not much yet, but it's just layer upon layer. See, what's cool is I'm not even pressing down any harder, and just because I'm oh, picked up some of my pencil sketch from below. Oh, well, where's this black coming from? I don't know where that line came from. Unless there was like a smudge on there or something. I have to find some way to cover that up without erasing. In any case, I'm not pressing down any harder, and yet it's coming out smoother just by adding layers upon layers. So I like that. Maybe I picked up a big blotch of black or something, just kind of scraped it. I don't see any on my pencil. Yeah, it's picking up black from somewhere. Oh well, I'll just call those lines his face. So I know that his mouth is in there somewhere, but I'll come back for that later. So, midweek. It's nice. Yeah, there's like some black on here or something. Hump day. Halfway there, right? I think this Saturday is actually the not technically a month. I think I've only been doing these for like 3 weeks now, but it's the end of the month in terms of like calendar days. So I think I'll go back and actually look at the artwork I've done so far and kind of do it like a, I don't know, maybe like a video, not a live stream, but like a video kind of self-assessing my progress. And even though I've done a lot of videos, I don't really see any progress. That's not to say it's all terrible, but it's not like I'm moving in any particular direction. I'm not getting worse. I'm not getting better. All right. So there are some other colors in his face that are really subtle, but I'm gonna put those in. Like there's some purple. Can't really see that on camera very well. Maybe I can kind of move this light. Yeah, that doesn't help. Oh well. I see them there. He's got some purple in his cheek. And then he's got some purple in his eyelids, I guess they're called. Yeah. He's got some purple under his eyes. I love baby Grogu. He's so cute. I hope they don't end the show before he actually says his first word. I don't think I've heard him say anything yet. Looks very sketchy right now, but that's okay. Layers upon layers. He's got such a tiny nose. Camel Day, yeah. Thanks, Richard. I don't think there's any purple up there. There is some purple in his ears here. His ears are kind of like, what is the plant? I think geraniums. They kind of have like green that fade to kind of like a pinkish color. I don't know. Alright, so I'm going to grab, what color is that? Grab this color, I think, to kind of smooth out some of this. So again, I'm not really worried about any of the particulars on this. I'm just throwing down blocks of color at this point. He does look like he has something to say. Do you watch Mandalorian, Richard? I assume you do. If you were like wanting the picture. Now, I'm thinking, even though I don't have gray, let's see if this silver comes off looking gray or if it comes off. Yeah, alright. It might be a little metallic here than what I'm shooting for, but I do want to kind of gray them out a little bit. That kind of looks black but on camera, but to me, Kind of looks a little gray. And inside of his ear, there's some shadow. Alright, so I'm okay with that. Connect with this. Again, I don't mind if he looks a little off color from what he looks like in the original reference art, because to me, that's the limitation of the palettes that I got. I've got a certain number of colored pencils, and I've got a certain number of oil pastels. It is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get a lot of time to watch either. But what I do like about Disney Plus versus Netflix, I thought it would be cool when Netflix first started dropping all the episodes of their shows at one time. I thought it'd be cool to like be able to watch all of them at one time. But what I find is, man, that's a commitment. Like you really can't just watch one episode of anything on Netflix. You end up wanting to marathon all of it. So basically, if you go to watch it, like when I watched Wednesday, um, the Wednesday Adams thing, it, it's such a good show. It kind of hooks you in where you end up watching all of them in one sitting, and then you've got, I guess they call it a show hole, where you've got nothing to watch. That's no fun. So one of the good things, I guess, about Disney is they don't do that. They space them out like a week at a time, which I think is kind of cool because then you end up having something to look forward to for what, 3 months or however long the show runs for. Let's see. I had an eraser somewhere. There it is. Got these pencil lines here that I kind of want to clean up. So I am going to try using the smudge stick. See if I can kind of blend some of this in. Of course, it's not a clean smudge stick. It's from my pencil stuff, so I don't know if it's going to end up smudging more than I want. But I think that kind of gives it like a softer ear, which is cool. And then I can still kind of come over it and add more details. And then, if somebody is trying to learn, I go like circular here just to kind of like blend it a little bit. So that ear definitely looks more done than the other ear, so that's good. I wonder what his face is going to look like. So now I've got this white. I'm going to come in and try to press down really hard, kind of add a little bit of highlight to the top of his ear. which I think kind of works, but also I kind of screwed up because what color was that? It's this one, I think. Should have come down so far. Come back over that part. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it looks kind of dirty in the camera, but in person it doesn't look terrible. And then this is to kind of blend the pink in a little bit. Kind of gray that out a little bit. I mean, that looks a little bit more realistic. Now the problem is, I gotta remember what all I'm doing on this here so I can do it on the other here. It's so hard. So hard to remember all these things. I don't really know where I got the idea to do this as a self-improvement, New Year's resolution. I started the year off wanting to learn the violin. I actually bought some lessons on that for Udemy, I think. And, outside of like 1-2 sessions, I haven't really done a lot with that yet. So that's on my list. Maybe I'll revisit that this weekend. I do like adding layers because, you can see the difference between this year, which is unfinished, and this year that is finished. It's not perfect, but it definitely is a difference. Mm-hmm. So I think that's good enough to move on to the other ear and see if I can duplicate what I did there on that side on this side. So good luck, Jeremy. I got all my pencils. I think I remember which ones were which. They don't have to look exactly the same because we could say that this one has more light on it, but they should at least look similar in style. It's got these pudgy little cheeks. I love them. Now, of course, a better artist than me would probably have had this looking perfect the entire time. That is not me. I am an artist in learning. Future perfect artist. If there is one. A man dedicated to his craft. That's what I am. Man who will make many, many mistakes and then try to cover them up. And the ones that you can't cover up, he'll say are on purpose. Oh, yeah, so I am not going to play a violin on YouTube. Right now, it sounds like cats fighting. It is not a pleasant sound. Maybe one day, but I am not there yet. I figure maybe a year or two I'll be good enough to where it doesn't sound like something died. How's it going, Packer, by the way? A maroon smoking jacket? Yeah, that's the goal. I want to be Sherlock Holmes. Playing the violin. No, have you ever heard, well, I mean, if I played, it would sound bad, but have you ever heard a good song, or like a song played by a good musician? It was violin that didn't sound amazing. I love the sound of the violin. Like speaking of Sherlock, like even that show, I mean, I love the soundtrack of that, the theme song, and um, I don't remember it offhand, but the one song that he composed for the wedding episode, that was pretty good. A little more neon than he is in the original photo, but I think it's cool. Maybe I'll add some like blue background or something to make him really stand out when I get to it. It's the limited colors I got. Yeah, I think Benedict Cumberbatch and Freeman um, are super busy with Marvel right now, but it would be kind of cool. I think the last interview I read is they're not opposed to coming back to doing more Sherlocks, but it would be like getting everybody on board with the same schedule, and I don't see that happening because Benedict Cumberbatch is just cranking out Marvel movies. Like when his Doctor Strange movie came out, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to catch on. It's kind of a weird character. I mean, I don't think it's weird, but general audiences, I could see them thinking it's not the best character that Marvel's put out. But no, people seem to have embraced him, and he's a big part of, I guess, Phase 3. And moving into Phase 4, he's still around, he's still alive, so I guess we'll see. He's got more movies slated. Alright, so here I used silver instead of gray because I don't have a gray. But I like silver. I think it works out fine. Kind of add a little bit of gray to this guy. So, anybody familiar with like gremlins? I got this theory. I don't know. Maybe it's already out there on the internet, but if not, I'm going to break it. That Baby Yoda was deeply inspired by Gizmo the Mogwai, because it's basically the same head. One of them's green. One of them. Nigel Kennedy. Sorry. Nice. I feel like in terms of toys, Baby Yoda and the Mogwai Gizmo are basically cousins. Yeah, do not feed. You probably shouldn't feed Grogu after midnight either. Alright, so I'm going to use this white now to see if I can kind of blend some of this like I did on the other side. Or at least soften it up a bit. Remove some of this texture caused by the teeth in the paper. I do like this combination. I know they're just like $5 oil pastels, but using it as the base and then coming in and going over your oil pastels with colored pencils seems to be working pretty well, or at least I'm happy with it. So I will use this technique for more pictures in the future. Like, it still looks a little grainy on camera, but in person this is definitely smoothed out a lot more. I think it's his face. His face is still grainy, so I think that's distracting from the ears, which are much less intense, or much less textured, I guess. We're gonna start a drinking game where, like, you guys have to take a shot every time I use the wrong word. But hey, this is live, you know? Like, it'd be different if I had a script to go off of. Yeah, ears. Alright. So... Oh, I also used the blending tool on the other side to kind of smooth it up a little bit. Let me see how that goes. That's the tough part. You do one side that you really, or it's passable, and you come over to the other side, and you're like, well, how do I make the other side look consistent with the side I did already? It's tough because I haven't developed a consistent style yet, so I have to look at my other one and make sure that this one resembles that. So I don't know how the video is going to turn out, but I think the photo might turn out pretty good for this when it's done. One of the things I was thinking I might start doing maybe next week, not this week, is some of these pictures that I do really deserve more time than the 1 or 2 hours I give it here on these live streams. I think what I might do is start putting in whatever amount of time it takes to get something right. Like if it's 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, whatever. Record all of that, and then just get rid of all the nonsense of me talking or whatever, and then actually script a voiceover and put that out as like a shorter video. I'm still going to do the live streams, but I think that I might produce better work if I'm taking my time with it and not trying to cram it in a certain amount of time. So I'm going to give that a shot just as a, self-improvement goal. Let's see. If I wanted his... He's got such a cute face. As I'm drawing his face, I'm like, oh, he's got such a cute little... Oh, he's got these little cheeks. Thanks, Richard. And then, like the live streams, I might just be working on a part of a piece or something. So, like, if I'm doing something that's more involved, that I expect might take, I don't know, like 40 hours. Probably I don't have the patience to do any work like that, but say I did want to tackle something like that, I might use the live stream just to chat and talk with you guys while I'm working on like a single piece of a larger project or something. Let me put in his mouth. That comes over. Just drawing a line so that I know where it is. That's not gonna be his actual mouth, really. I just love how he's looking at. This should probably actually come down further. I love how he's looking at that cookie like he's expecting that cookie to do something. Alright, this is part of his rope down here, so I don't want to go too far down. I am liking these habits I'm getting into of like reaching across the paper like this. So I am learning something. It's not making my art any better, but I'm learning tips and tricks. I think this is where his eye will come around, or his eyebrow. Sorry if I get quiet, it's because I'm like thinking. Like all my guidelines that I'd sketched earlier are gone, so I'm basically having to freehand this all over again because they're all like buried under color at this point. Starting to look like a face. I mean, still needs a lot of work, but what I should do is at some point I should come back and do old man yoga, old man Yoda as well, and have them like displayed side by side. That would be kind of cool. When 900 years you are, look as good and you will not. I am not trying the Yoda voice. 900 years you are. You think I can't do that? I should not have tried that. Oh, I regret that. Bad Jeremy, don't do that again. I was doing a pretty good Chewbacca impression earlier, though. Wait. That's really what you guys want to hear while I'm trying to like create art is like me making Chewbacca voices. I like to talk to my dogs in Chewbacca voice. All right, go back to sleep. It's not dinner time yet. I shouldn't have said the word dinner. Yeah, it would be kind of cool. Like I should probably pay attention to the chat here. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Um, it would be kind of cool if like they do have at some point in the future, probably not right away. He's still a little infant, but it would be kind of cool if he like said his first word and it was Mando. Like that should be his first word, Mando. Oh, kidneys. Oh, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to hit a proverbial nerve there. That sounds painful. Ouch. Yeah, I was a little nervous at this about this at first, but I think you know clearly needs some smoothing out and stuff like that. He still looks like a crumpled little sponge there, but I mean he's a Muppet. I think it's getting there a little bit. What's cool about, like, honestly, this is my first Yoda I've ever drawn. Even as a kid, I didn't draw Yoda. Um, what I'm liking about drawing Yoda is he's got so much structure to his face. Even as a baby Yoda, there's a lot of lines there to work with. I was debating what medium I wanted to. Maybe I'll do more like in other things, but one of the ones I saw somebody else doing that I thought was cool is I saw somebody do a coffee painting of Yoda when I was like researching coffee painting. One of them was Baby Yoda. I thought that was cool. I don't really want to do things just that other people are doing, but if I'm inspired to do something similar, I will. Like, I probably won't do a coffee painting Yoda, but I thought it turned out really good. What that guy did, not me. So there's a couple of bumps on his head. I want to make sure I get in there because I feel like this one come around like that. That's right. And then this one, I need to go out and get some proper art supplies. That's the problem. I gotta stop being cheap. Get the right stuff. Because like soft oil pastels are really cool. I've seen some of the stuff that other people do with it, and it's really just like painting. Painting green tea. Oh, cool. Oh man, on the TV, I've been called big-headed before, but that's like really big. Like, hopefully you got like a little tiny TV and not one of those big gigantic ones and stuff. Call me big-headed. So in the reference art, like all of this is kind of like highlighted. So I don't know what I want to do with that. I guess I'll just kind of leave it white, but I don't want it to be like total white. I kind of want it to be a blended white so that it's consistent with the top of his ears. Like you can't really see the difference on camera, but there is a difference in like texture. I want all of this to be smoothed out, but then also have some green in there. So I was debating whether or not I was going to add a background color. Looking at him now, I kind of feel like, yeah, a dark background color would be nice to kind of have him pop out of the page. But I'm not there yet. I think in addition to this like light green, I could be using like a light blue up here as well. Let me go dumpster diving in my colored pencils and see if I have anything that would work good with that. Let me try this. It might be too dark though. He does have like a lot of blue in him though. So if this doesn't come out too dark, yeah, just kind of lightly putting in some blue here. You guys can't see it because it's like shitty camera, but I think having some blue up here would be really cool. Kind of give him a different color to his skin too. So I am going to blend some of this with my blending stump. No, I don't go dumpster diving. I'm just, I'm not above it. I guess if going to Goodwill and looking for bargains is considered dumpster diving. Yeah, sure. So I was going to mention, so like I do go to thrift stores sometimes for a very particular reason. So that first thing I did where I did like Sherlock Holmes in a book, I kind of got this idea that I would go and get like a really crappy painting from like the 80s or something that somebody discarded and sent to Goodwill or something like that. I would take that and I would add something to it. Like it's called redirected art, and I seen one where somebody took like a picture of like the woods or whatever, and he added like the duck from Duck Hunt into it, and I thought that was really cool. He totally transformed the original. I mean, it looked like something from the 1980s, um, maybe Thomas Kincaid or something like that. And he completely redirected the art by adding a Duck Hunt duck in it. So I thought that was cool. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm probably going to go to Goodwill at some point and find a good picture that would be good to do that with. So at this point, I'm just kind of smoothing this out. I'm not done with this face. I'm going to add more layers, but I wanted, or some more definition, but I wanted it kind of smoothed out enough so that I can kind of see what I'm doing and give, additional layers, something to kind of adhere to other than the paper. So I think I am pretty happy with his eyeballs though. So I'm going to cheat and come over here. I do think he's got a little bit of brown to his eyes. So I'm going to add that with colored pencil, at least on this eye. Yeah, see that gives, you can't see it, but that gives it a lot of definition, which is cool to me. And then I'm going to put that back in there. I'm going to grab my pseudo gray, which is silver really. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight in here to his eye. And on the other side, he's only got like a little small splotch of white in his eye. But there is some like other shades in here, so I kind of want to get those in there. See, this is where I think like a standalone like video, not a live stream, would be cool, because I could zoom in on the stuff I'm doing and really show off the detail I'm putting in his eye right now, because I do think it's kind of cool. Alright, and then I'm going to try this with a white pencil, but if it doesn't work right, I might come back and do it with my gel pen. See if I can just kind of add some white. Yeah, see, all this stuff just kind of creates this like, I don't know, illusion of reality that I think is kind of cool. Like, it doesn't show up very well on camera, but oh, there you go. If I peel back some of the, yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I like it when things look cool. Yeah, so like illusion of reality. It's a cool term. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna come in and add some shadow in here. Give him his actual mouth. It's usually about this time I start screwing up the picture bad, but oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know how to cover up that line I just put in. People should watch this show just to see me screwing up and then trying to fix it. Because, like, honestly, there's a lot of videos on YouTube. You can go and watch a real professional artist if you want. But if you want to be entertained by somebody screwing up a lot, that's me. That's what I bring to the table. I bring entertainment. At least in my live streams. Maybe at some point I'll actually feel comfortable doing a tutorial video where I'm actually explaining the process, but I don't feel like I'm there yet because I'm still learning. Who am I to go off and tell somebody else how to do their own art? Maybe someday, but not today. I do like when you go to work on a piece. Like, I enjoy watching myself work as well, right? So, like, when I was thinking about whether or not I wanted to live stream this stuff or just kind of make stuff and then post a picture to Instagram or something like that, I was like, well, I enjoy a piece coming together. Maybe other people would as well. Maybe people will hang out with me, talk and chat with me and stuff like that. Um, but anyway, my point is that when I watch it, like, I mean, you can go back and look at the beginning of it. It looked like straight up garbage at first, right? But as you start adding more layers and more details and stuff, it's starting to come together. And I find that fascinating. And I'm the one who's making it. Um, I love watching other people do work like that too. Not necessarily time lapse, but maybe sped up or something like that. Um, I think that's the other thing I'm going to do as well. Like when I make my shorts, they're not just going to be like 1 minute time lapses. I'm going to focus on like a particular thing. Like I might zoom in on the eye or something like that and work on that for a bit. Um, Man, I'm distracting myself. Anyway, point is, I like watching a piece come together, same as anybody else does. It is so cool to see something work and come alive, which I feel like this piece is kind of starting to, at least, as I add more things to it. Like just coming in and adding highlights like I am now just completely transforms a picture, right? Not saying this picture is perfect. I see a lot of flaws in it, a lot of things I can improve. But also, eh, for somebody with a limited set of colors here, somebody out there with a big old budget getting fancy crayons and stuff, maybe they can do something a lot better. Well, obviously they could, but um, it's not that bad. Oh, a ship redirected. Yeah, so like if you had a ship at sea and then you painted in like a kraken or something like that, just coming out of the water, or like a giant squid dragging it into the depths of the ocean. That's some cool stuff. I like that kind of stuff. Let's see. All right, let me sharpen this just because I want this mouth to turn out right. So I think his mouth would be here, and there's not a lot to it. It's just kind of like one line. It's so easy to mess up a picture by screwing up the mouth, especially on like if you're drawing women, um, and you screw up the shape of the woman's lips. It completely transforms what she looks like. So it always makes me nervous to come in and add something so prominent later. So I think this captures his expression well enough. Somebody comparing it to the original might disagree, but I think this face where he's like works well enough. This is fun for me. I hope you guys are having fun as well, but whenever I do these things, I'm like, that was a good time. I enjoyed that. Oh, you know what? This is a little rough over here. Let me see if I can fix that. This is what I'm talking about like spending time with a picture. Like I just noticed that one little thing. I probably, if I hadn't noticed it, I probably would have posted it, and then I'd be like, oh, that's kind of messed up. I need to fix that. So again, he does kind of have this purpley look on his skin. It's not all green, so I kind of want to add that in. Little things like that matter too. Like you could go off and do something that's completely green, and people will be like, "Yep, that's a Yoda." But also, if you come in and you add these additional colors, as additional layers, it just adds to the work. Like you can't really see it on camera, but I'm looking at this and I see a kaleidoscope of colors in his face now, which is cool. So, to that end, let me come in here and add this. I'm gonna introduce some blue in the folds of his face a little bit too. Once I'm done with this bit here. Might be a bit much. No, I think that's fine. So instead of just being a line, I want it to be a little bit thicker, kind of a shadow of a very prominent eye socket, or whatever it is. There you go, drink. I used the wrong word. I think they said that Baby Yoda is about 50 years old. When they first gave him the bounty and he went to go get him, they mentioned how old he was. In fact, they didn't even call him a child. They just said that, you gotta go fetch this mail or something. 50 years old. He may have been like 55 or something, but let's call him 50. So instead of using black, I'm actually going to use a little blue in here just because I'm going for kind of a bit of a neon Yoda. And I think this blue works really well with the green. Even though it's not in the original, I'm okay with that. Redirected art is what I'm going to call it. But like I said, who's to say that he's not reflecting? There is a little bit of blue in the original, so I don't feel too bad. It's not this shade of blue. But anyway, redirected art. Take somebody else's work, make it your own. I wouldn't want to do something that somebody else is doing exactly anyway. I might actually go back and rewatch all the other episodes of Mandalorian in preparation for the new season. Anyway. Kind of smooth out some of these lines. Just because he is an infant, he wouldn't have a lot of like rough lines. Especially in these shadows, it gets a little softer. Alright, that's looking cool, man. moving around along, I think I'm going to try and tackle his hands, I guess. I could move on to his robe, but I feel like if I didn't finish the robes, I can always do that later because that's like not really essential. At this point, I'm just kind of like blending in this green that was already here with this lighter green to kind of like create a little bit of depth. Just like in the face, you know, adding layers upon layers. Trying to stay a little bit true to the original, but not stressing it because I kind of already gone a little bit off on this. A little bit of shadow too. This hand. He's only got two fingers. I think three. You just don't see them all. Yeah, the Force is definitely strong with Yoda or Grogu. So I'm kind of wondering. So like, he's not Yoda, right? So like, they can go totally different with this character. Um, I think one of the themes of the show, without getting into spoiler territory, I do feel like they're kind of like leaving it a question to be answered whether or not he'll turn to the dark side, whether or not he's going to be like the original Yoda and be straight up good. I mean, he's obviously a good character now, but I do think that as the show goes on, hopefully for like a million more years, probably not, um, they might explore some of that kind of stuff, like because he did a force choke on somebody. That's dark side. He is not always a good little guy. If he thinks that Mando's in trouble or he himself is in trouble, he is not above going like one day. It would be kind of cool if he just broke out some force lightning, just kind of just start crackling on somebody. That'd be cool. Because I think, I don't know, somebody can let me know if I'm wrong. I think that is strictly a dark side ability, like the whole force lightning thing. I don't know. They retcon it so much. Maybe that's now a good person's light side ability as well. But I don't know. As far as I know, that is a dark side ability, and it would be kind of cool if, yeah, Darth Yoda. That would be cool. Like if he was just dressed in all black sometime. So his claws on his hand, kind of this yellow ochre color, sort of. And again, I have to remember what I'm doing over here so I can repeat on the other side. I know this started out me wanting to use my oil pastels, but I'm enjoying working with colored pencils. I do think that they work really good together. That starting it with the oil pastels just to throw down some color and then coming back and adding details with the colored pencil is the right way to go for me. Other artists may vary. Again, if I had a better set of oil pastels, maybe I would vary. But for this particular picture, I think that that's working out pretty well. So in between. Yeah, a little Darth Yoda would be awesome. I have no idea where they're going to go with this character on the show, but that would be cool. That would get my vote. But I do think that they're kind of leaving it open on the fate of this character. There's some other elements to the story too. So like this does not, it's not a standalone story. It lives in the greater Star Wars universe. So he is a student of well, I guess it's not really spoiler. You know what? I'm just going to talk about it anyway. Um, he is a student of um, Luke Skywalker, Master Luke, and if you watch the movies, like Master Luke doesn't have a like a school for very long. Like something happens to his school, and obviously Baby Yoda is not part of that story. So you wonder, well, by that time, by the movie time, what is the fate of Baby Yoda? No idea. Hopefully, we'll learn. I hope he turns out okay. That would be devastating if he didn't. I think he's fine. Yeah. People have differing opinions on the movies. I didn't hate them. Like if you make a Star Wars movie and there's like lightsabers in it, I'll watch it. I don't care about the plot, but the plot of that, I don't know. I think the plot of that movie is like my pictures. Could use some work. Could be better. Isn't terrible, but could be better. Little baby Yoda, Grogu. I know when they announced the name Grogu, a lot of people were scratching their head like, "What? What's a Grogu?" I think people were pretty attached to the calling him Baby Yoda. Of course, he wouldn't be Yoda. By this time in the timeline, Yoda had already passed away. Now, it would be kind of cool if he turns out to be the son of Baby, or son of Yoda, or something like that. That would be kind of cool. All right. Let's see. Isn't perfect, but I think that looks okay enough. Maybe move on. Yeah. I gotta stop looking at the reference art for that because that does not look like the reference art, but I'm okay with it. He's green. He's got a hand. Alright, so I do need to work on this other hand. And make it match. See how we doing on time. An hour and a half. I want to be respectful of everybody else's time and not make them have to watch a 3 hour thing just to kind of like. I feel like people want to see what the end of this is and how it turned out and everything. But then I also realize, well, maybe they don't want to wait 3 hours, 5 hours, or whatever it takes to get there. So I want to be nice and be conscious of the time. Yeah, you can. I mean, you have my email address if you want to email me. I try not to commit to like what I'm gonna do with these pictures and stuff like that, but I, you know, I'm not opposed to like giving them away or whatever. I want to make sure that I get it done. That's my only concern. I think it looks kind of cool. If you're looking for a faithful rendition of the original, you can find that on Google. If you're looking for my interpretation, involves the colors I got. And this is not that bad. So I need to sketch in. So he's getting this out of a tube. So I need to sketch that in because I had forgotten. Because you got more cookies up in there. Yeah. Alright, that's cool. I ended up holding like a bunch of different pencils in my hand while I'm doing this. 10 hours. I'm not. I don't have the patience to sit here for 10 hours. Now, I would like, and I have no idea what kind of project that would be. I would like to actually, you know, take a crack at something that is more involved. Something that would take 10 hours. I'm not going to sit here for 10 hours, but something that I can work on and come back to. Like theoretically, I could take this picture, go out and buy some more colors and go over the work that I already did and kind of fix up some of the stuff that I see is different from the original. Just kind of refine it a little bit more each time I work on it. So something like that would be kind of cool. Work on something a little bit over time. All right. I think I'm at the point where I am going to try, and again, I don't have the right colors for this, but I'm going to try to do this cookie. The cookie kind of has like a turquoise color to it, I guess. And again, I don't have the right colors for that. So instead, you're going to get whatever comes out of this. Oh, I don't know the names of different colors. What I'm using is a light aqua, which is the best I've got to pull this off. We'll see how it goes. And then he's also got crumbs on his, what would you call this? His robe. So I'm going to kind of pencil that in a little bit as well. Because he's already eaten a bite, and so it's kind of falling out. Alright, so I'm going to try to blend that because this is a really super smooth cookie. Well, actually, I'm going to add some white. I think the white might make it look more like the original. And that also helps blend it. It's kind of like a blue-green. There's definitely some green in there. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's all I got. What am I going to do when I do get some proper art supplies? And then I can no longer use that as an excuse for my crappy work, right? At some point, I gotta say, mm, maybe I'm just not a good artist. So I guess this is kind of like a, what are they called, macaroons or something like that? I don't know. I don't eat them myself, but I see them at like Starbucks sometimes. It's not just a cookie. It's kind of like a sandwich, cookie sandwich. I do like drawing with colored pencils. What color is this? Aqua, aquamarine. What was the other thing I was using? Light aqua. All right, so light aqua and aquamarine. Maybe those will go good together. Yeah, maybe. That's not too bad. If I hadn't said it earlier, and I'm pretty sure I did, I have a lot of fun hanging out with you guys in here. I know that I'm mostly talking to myself, but I appreciate you guys being here on and joining me on this journey. And I know some people have reached out to me and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm inspired to draw pictures myself." I love that. I love that something I'm doing has inspired you. That's a terrible sound, I'm sure. All right, so I've got the colors that I used. I kind of want to make sure I go ahead and do this bit as well because otherwise I'll forget about it. Because there is more cookies in this container that he's going to get to before the end of the episode because he eats all of them. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but that leads to a very funny scene. That's the scene I should have drawn. If you know, you know. That's the problem with drawing pictures from, you know, shows and stuff like that. I want to talk about the shows I'm drawing a picture from, but then I'm like, should I do that? That's kind of spoilery. So this actually comes out more, I see now. And then that kind of goes in like that. I don't want to get crazy with this because it's not a focal point. big blotch of color. That's, that's what the oil pastel's for, right? Why waste pencil lead? Yeah, I really like that method there, where you just lay down a bunch of color with the oil pastels, and then you come back in over it with the colored pencils. And then I'm going to use white, even though I don't want a lot of white in there, just to kind of blend it. Yeah, look at that. Alright, let's see, and then on this side, is that my black? Yep. On this side, there's kind of like, I don't know, some kind of like wrapper to this. And then this side kind of folds up like that. Alright. And then, where's my silver? And then this is literally silver. Again, I don't really have to throw in a lot of detail because this is going to be kind of like off the side anyway. It's not like I plan on spending a lot of time on this chair. Okay, so now I've got to screw up his robe, which has a lot of folds in it. So this might be one of those things where I end up having to end the stream around, 2 hours in, and then finish it up separately. All right, so I don't have like a beige color really. So I think I'm gonna make this robe browner than it actually is. And then come in and add other colors on top to kind of bring back out that lightness to it. Actually, this texture isn't that bad for his fleece part of his robe. But that's not what I want. And this kind of goes into like a lighter area. I don't feel like I have to put a lot of detail into this part anyway, because it is not really what the viewer's eyes is going to be looking at. It doesn't have to be exactly like the photo. Well, like in the beginning, it looks worse than it actually hopefully will be. So this part all through here is all draped in shadows, so I can get really dark with that. this part through here is all draped in shadows up to the table that he's sitting at, because I think this was in school, like he was in a class or something. Yeah, he was studying something and eating cookies. Oh, that's kind of cool. Alright, and then this comes around. This is kind of like a rolled up sleeve. And the back part of his robe here. Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that you guys appreciate this. I, like, I mean, honestly, I joke around a lot, but seriously, that's unexpected. I did not expect people to have such a positive response to like things I'm working on. So that's a good start, I think. And then for touch-up color, I don't know if I like this. I don't even know what color that is. I'm gonna skip that. I think I'm gonna go with this more peachy kind of look, peachy color, and then hopefully that'll come off looking kind of tan. Again, this is a stylized version of the original, I think. You're not looking at a perfectly colored picture. You're looking at a picture done by a guy with a limited palette, trying to do his best. So, peach is what you get. You gotta remember that these like crumbs are here, or else I'm gonna end up coloring over them. Alright, and then I think I have brown. And I can do some of this shadow with. Yeah, thank you. I don't know what you're thinking me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to blend this in at some point, but I'm happy enough with these colors, even though I don't, like a beige color or something like that would be better. But honestly, like all the other colors are so saturated that I don't think at this point like a beige robe would be appropriate. So I'm not so worried about that because that's going to end up in black. I think I'll go ahead and do that black now. stretch back and forth here. Let me go ahead and smooth that part, just because I don't want to have to go back and mess with the face later. I think that works. Okay. What was it? Oh yeah. Just talking to myself. And this part has, oh, wrong one. I'm gonna define this line across a little bit. Just kind of making it up as I go. And over here, alright, so I'm going to try to blend some of this stuff just because I'm kind of curious how it's going to look. Alright, and then I'm going to come back and add some. Let me try this, see what this looks like. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Plus, that's great for blending. I like that. Alright, cool. Not unhappy with that. So unfortunately, when you go to blend, it kind of presses everything down into, or at least blending with this this blending stump here, kind of presses everything down into the paper and destroys any kind of like texture you have to the paper, to where, yeah, maybe you can come back and add a little bit on top of it, but not much. So you have to be pretty committed to it when you get to that point, I think. I'm not telling you guys this. You guys don't care. I'm telling myself that for future reference. You guys don't care about this stuff. That's actually a pretty good color. I like the combination of colors I've got going on in here. And what's cool is doing this kind of smooths these out a little bit. I keep thinking those crumbs are like things I have to brush off, but they're not. That's funny. So I think that looks kind of muddy, but in a good way. So what I'd like to do, let's see if this will let me. I'd like to sketch in maybe some texture, make that look more like fleece. And maybe I can do it with a little bit sharper pencil. That way, you know, it kind of has a little bit of texture to it. Because the other parts of the robe are a lot smoother. Then I'll do the same with the black. Just kind of make it look a little bit more like fleece. I'm not getting really crazy with it. Getting there. I mean, I gotta be honest with you, it's not perfect, but it's turning out way better than I thought it would. Now I gotta remember what all pencils I used. So I can do the rest of his robe. Alright, so let me knock out this arm over here just because it's the shorter of the two, and I can move on. I mean, there comes a point where you're like, how am I supposed to get this done? I just want to get it done. That's right, I also use this cream pencil. I was wondering why. Yeah, so I should put the cream down first. I screwed up. Then come back with this a little bit over it. It is what it is at this point. And then come back with this a little bit. And then this part here is fluffy. So let me add that texture in. As I roll in here, make sure I add all the rolls. And the top should be a little bit more white, or at least smoothed out. I'm basically talking to myself here, sorry. And then come back with this thing. Catching that shadow. Again, it's not like the reference photo exactly, and the internet is probably going to ding me for that when they go. Like, I swear, whenever you post something on the internet and you like let it, let people know what you're drawing from, they go and look at it and they compare it to the original, and like, does it match up? And if it doesn't exactly, you get a little dinged, which I don't think is fair, but I get it. I mean, I'm not drawing like a photo here. I'm drawing my interpretation of something. Alright, so now I gotta repeat the process down here. So fun. Oh, thanks, man. The right word is terrible. Just kidding. No, I mean, it's not bad. I agree. It's not perfect. Um, but I feel like this should come. Like, that's weird. Where's that cookie over there? Anyway, um, it's not terrible. The textures and stuff are fun, but it looks better from a distance. Like if you squint at it, you see these things. Actually, to be honest, I like getting up close to a painting and looking at things like individual lines. Like, all right, so there's this little dot here that's supposed to represent fleece, right? And when you get up close to it, it looks like just a dot, and it's a very poor dot. It's not the best dot in the world, but I love that kind of stuff. When looking at other people's art, like in museums and things like that, or galleries or whatever. Um, I enjoy going to galleries and stuff just to look at cool things like that. Things that you wouldn't see in a photo, like on. Hey Ben, how's it going? Yeah, I'm doing it a little bit earlier because it's Wednesday, and I want to make sure I'm freed up for like voice chat later or whatever. So my Wednesday afternoons are going to be a little bit earlier. I mean, it's a little bit neon, but I think it looks like baby Yoda, Grogu. And if you're coming in late, it's neon because I have a limited color set here, and I'm too lazy to go out and buy proper colors. Like, you can buy individual colored pencils. So like if you're planning on doing Grogu, you might want like a gray green or something like that. So you can like go to like an art store or something. Can you erase this and start over? I tell you what, when I'm done, I'll post. Like, you can go back and watch the beginning. But yeah, so he would be more like a grayish green than this Hulk green that's going on here. But it is what it is. I'm comfortable with it. All right, let me get some of this. But yeah, like I was saying, um, even the imperfections and stuff really like capture my attention when I go to see art in galleries or in museums or something like that. Like, I probably wouldn't spend hours looking at a painting, but certainly it may capture my attention for quite some time. Because, I mean, I've said it before on this show, like, really, that kind of stuff just has me trying to think about, like, the artist who put that dot down, right? So, like, this random dot, like, did he intentionally do that? Is it just, you know, because he was making a quick picture? What's going on with that dot? That's the kind of stuff. I feel like this could come down more like that. There you go. I am kind of glad that this robe is getting finished up because I haven't eaten dinner yet and my tummy is ready. I think maybe off camera I'll add in like a little bit of background because, well, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna leave it be and call it finished once his robe is done. Hey Milan, how's it going? Milan, sorry. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Milan. You guys are so nice. You guys are so nice. You're gonna make me cry all over my baby Yoda. I don't want to cry over my baby Yoda. No, you guys are really super nice. I appreciate it. Um, I wasn't actually happy with. How's it going? I wasn't actually happy with the pastel picture I did the other day. Um, I felt like I could have spent more time with it and got it to more like a finished state. Hi, Huli. I feel like I could have got that pastel picture to like a more finished state if I spent more time with it, but I wasn't really happy with it. So I have two. Oh, you only see one flaw? What's the flaw? Maybe I can fix it. Probably can't, but maybe I can. What's the flaw? Oh, it doesn't have a baby wrench. You know what? Is there a way to give you a wrench? Let's see. I don't know. Add as a managing moderator. Add as a standard moderator. I don't know if really is a standard moderator. Alright, I don't know if I did that right. This is the first time I ever did that. So you should be a moderator now, Huli, just because it's tradition. Yay, you're blue! So, for complete strangers, Huli is somebody that we hang out with on YouTube all the time, and she's always a moderator, so. Shush, dogs, I'm almost done. Huli owns the chase. Yeah, so I've never had a channel before, so I don't know if I did that right, but hopefully I did. So I think this is actually supposed to come in a little bit. Guys, shh. I want to. I'll give you guys all wrenches later. I'm trying to finish up this picture. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to be like picky with who gets a wrench. But as far as I'm concerned, you can all have a wrench. I don't care. What do I care? Alright, so this still looks rough through here, so let me kind of smooth that out a little bit. Alright, I think it's, let's see, what's the best way to do that? Grab this. So I think I can quickly maybe add kind of the table in a little bit. See, this is what I like about these oil pastels is it's not like they're doing exactly what I want them to do. I really do want to pick up some soft oil pastels at some point. I feel like I can be more creative with those and create better work. But in terms of just slapping down like a lot of color at one time, this can't beat that. If I was doing this with colored pencils, it would probably come out looking sketchy and whatnot. And then I don't know how this is going to work, but let me see if I can get some gray. Yeah. Get some gray in that. Alright, and then maybe a little bit. That's good enough. Alright, so let me take my blending tool and see if I can kind of blend that in so that it doesn't look so sketchy. It looks a little dirty, but I think that's because I put that gray in there. The original reference art had gray in it, so I wanted it to be a little bit darker. And I think one of my dogs farted. Uh, sorry. But it's true. You guys suck. Why you do that? I told you I was almost done. You fart in my room. Bad dogs. Alright, so I don't like how sketchy this part looks either, so I'm going to kind of try to blend that in. So what's cool about these, like these colored pencils and these oil pastels is that, you know, they are kind of creamy and you can kind of like mix them like this and do some cool blending. It comes out looking smoother than what I originally had. But yeah, I do think I'm about ready to call this done. I could add some background to it, but we're already at like 2 hours and 15 minutes in, and I kind of want to keep these kind of shorter than that. I did, like I mentioned, I think I am planning on maybe doing more in-depth work that spans several hours and stuff, and then kind of clipping it into like shorter videos, not making people have to watch all of it, or you know, like maybe in a live stream, instead of trying to do an entire finished piece within. Are you running the fire? Oh, the speakeasy tonight? Yeah, absolutely. That's why I started this actually at 4 o'clock Eastern, because I wanted to be freed up for that. So I will be in there for that. I don't know. All right, so I mean, look at it real quick. I think it's kind of where it's going to be. Let me go to the reference. So again, the reference, totally different colors. I'm limited with the colors I've got and stuff. Totally different lighting and everything. But for a neon looking Baby Yoda, I think that's fine. Now, if I did want to add some background to it, I'd probably do like a darker color just to kind of make him stand out, and then I'd probably put in some wispy hair because he does have like white Yoda hair and stuff like that. But as far as like just a colored sketch, I think I'm probably good to call this done. Enough. And since this one doesn't look so terrible, I think I actually will sign this one. Okay. I didn't sign the other ones. Just put my little... Three. Cool. All right, so I'm going to call this done. Again, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on today being a Wednesday. Usually it's at night, but you know, I think these Wednesday or Wednesday ones are going to be like afternoons, just so that you know maybe more people can watch it. People who aren't like night owls or whatever. But again, appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Until next time, have a good one.